WordNerds, and happy Monday. Today I wanted to just talk to you guys a little bit about writing antagonists. And writing antagonists is actually one of my absolute favorite things to do because antagonists don't get a lot of love in stories, mainly because they are the antagonists and are trying to thwart your hero and your protagonist at every turn. But they are just as important, if not more important, than your main character of a story. So when you are writing your antagonist, there's some key questions that you need to answer for yourself and some things that you definitely need to take into consideration when writing them, their dialogue, how they act, and who they are as a character. The first main thing that you need to always think about when writing your antagonist is what is their backstory. Oftentimes as writers we get caught up on writing our protagonist's backstory, very dramatic, it was like this, it was like this, it was like this, and this is because this is the way they are now because of it. That happens a lot because your protagonist is your main character. It makes sense to spend a lot of time on them. But why is your antagonist the way he is? Why is your antagonist crazy if we're gonna go from Batman villains? Why was Harvey Dent the way he was? They all have backstories. Why was the Joker the way he was? Even though we don't know that backstory, I have no doubt that the writers knew his backstory. Another question that you need to take into consideration is who was in charge of mentoring them. That's not necessarily always a parent, because oftentimes in stories we know that parents aren't present because honestly they kind of hinder the plot a lot of the times. Especially if your hero is going to go on epic quests or if your villain is going to do bad things, parents would definitely hinder that. So who mentored your antagonist? Whether it be a parent, a sibling, some no good person that this character just happened to fall into cahoots with, but who was responsible for their villainy upbringing? Another question that you should consider is who hurt them, because oftentimes pain begets pain, tragedy begets tragedy. Something had to happen to your antagonist to make them the way they are, whether that be some person, coming and murdering their parents. Whereas it could be the same as with a hero. For example, I'll use Batman again. Bruce Wayne saw his parents murdered. If a different character saw their parents killed, they might choose the path of villainy, but Bruce Wayne chose the path of heroism. But something has to happen to be the catalyst that turns your antagonist from a normal, typical person to someone that causes pain and constantly tries to derail your protagonist. Another thing to consider is antagonists are not always bad, and heroes are not always good for that matter. You cannot think of your characters as hero good, antagonist bad. Antagonist always has their reasons. The reasons might not always be good, but you have to look at it. So what if you have a character that is trying so hard to get medicine for their sibling, but they're in a society where all the medicine is guarded, and your hero is trying to steal this medicine for their sister, to save their life. They would be considered a hero in most stories and in most people's eyes because they're doing it for the good. Well, if there's a person that's shooting at them and actively trying to derail their mission to get their sibling this medicine, you would see that person as the antagonist. But what if that antagonist is just doing their job? They are appointed by the government to protect the medicine, and if anything goes missing, they get fired. And what if they have a family at home that they need to feed? All of a sudden, your protagonist looks like the antagonist from that point of view. And that is really important to keep in mind, that everything is about perspective. So think about the perspective of your hero, think about the perspective of your villain. And your antagonist's backstory and character will come full circle. I'm telling you guys, the more you work on your antagonist's backstory, the fuller your book will get, the more reasoning your antagonist will have to do things, and the more reason and the harder your protagonist has to work to earn your readers' trust and their affection if your reader can also see the perspective of the villain. Well guys, that is all I have for you today. Join us this Sunday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for our book club. This month we are reading History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, and I am so excited to chat with you guys about that. It is a great book so far, and I cannot wait to see what you guys think. Bye!